Welcome back to our special coverage of the manhunt for Brian Laundrie. We're still waiting to hear news from that swamp search today. The investigators calling out a cadaver dog all the way to the Carlton Reserve from Pasco County. K9 Diesel and his handler, investigator Sue Miller. She's a forensic investigator. They have been here before, just a few weeks ago, and they had to battle waist-deep water. Don't forget alligator-infested waters. That makes me mad. All of that in an effort to cover all the bases, a source tells me tonight. But there is no word on why today. Why yet again? The need for a cadaver dog. Law enforcement is also not saying if they now think that Brian might actually be dead. Joined by NewsNation's Brian Entin, who is outside the Laundrie family home. He's ready to answer your questions. And if you haven't submitted them yet, you still have time. So just send them on Twitter to TV Ashleigh. L-E-I-G-H, and then also at Brian Entin. And we're going to try and get a lot of questions. Okay, so Brian, the first one comes from Jill on Twitter, and she's got a good one. She asks, are there any cameras leading into the preserve or out? It might show if his parents lied.
Yeah, that's a good question. Right outside the reserve, it's not like there's any shopping centers or a mall or any businesses like that. There are some small neighborhoods. We've checked around, but no surveillance cameras from what we can see.
Okay, and then Cooper on Twitter asks this. If they do find Brian dead, can they still look into the involvement of the parents?
Absolutely. I would assume so. You might know better than me, Ashley, with this one, but I would assume so if they can prove that the parents somehow hid Brian at one point or helped him get away. Yes, absolutely.
It's a great question. I will only add to it that if you are guilty of obstruction of justice, it doesn't matter if the people you are obstructing justice regarding are dead. So yes, if you lie to the police, it doesn't matter who dies around you. That is a crime. So yeah, that's a good one, Cooper. Thank you. Okay, Road Trippin', it's a great handle. Road Trippin' on Twitter asks this. Do you know if the police have eyes on the swamp after nightfall?
So we know because we look at the flight-aware tracker system that there are helicopters that have been up in the night that they use flare technology, we're told, where they are looking for, anything heat sensing in the swamp. So yes, I don't know about last night or the night before, but over the last month or so, we have seen that happen at the swamp.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Carrie on Twitter has this question. I would like to know if any of these possible sightings were believed to be credible in a certain area. I'm assuming all the places where, the Appalachian Trail and the people who've said they've seen him in other countries. Wouldn't law enforcement need to warn those in the area for public safety? It's a good question.
That is a good question. First of all, none of the sightings have been confirmed. Last time I spoke with police, they emphasized that none of the sightings so far are confirmed Brian Laundrie sightings. So they haven't really warned the public in any certain areas. Although interesting, and we touched on this the other night, Ashley, that now the FBI has been officially calling Brian Laundrie a fugitive, which that's sort of new this week.
Sure. I mean, fugitive, he had a, warrant for bank fraud, this federal charge. So we were calling him a fugitive because if you're not around and you're on the run and there's a warrant, you're a fugitive. Okay. Joe on Twitter says, is the FBI going to make a public plea to increase awareness and encourage citizen assistance?
Another good question. I would love to know. The issue right now with the FBI is they totally do not answer any questions at all. Zero. They don't even give you tidbits. So we don't know. But you have to remember, this case is already getting so much coverage. Most people know what Brian Laundrie looks like. So I'm not sure that a public plea at this point would really change much.
Okay, this one just came in from Shauna, and I'm just going to read it live as it came in. Where was Gabby when Brian flew to Florida from Utah? He flew back to do the storage unit and then went back to meet her. Do we know?
It's our understanding that she was staying at a hotel in Salt Lake City. And according to Cassie, when Brian was back here doing the storage unit or whatever he was doing, he met up with Cassie and that they FaceTimed Gabby. And Cassie says that she did see Gabby and speak with Gabby on the FaceTime.
Okay, Brian, Michelle on Twitter, and it's M-A-S-H-E-L-L, Michelle, asks, does Brian Laundrie not have any friends? I haven't seen one friend of his step up through this whole thing.
You know, that's an interesting question. That might be one of the #1 questions I get. Why aren't you talking to more of his friends? Where are his friends? It's a good question. We obviously have tried. We have producers who have tried. There are not people coming forward, and we have not been able to find a lot of his friends.
Another one just came in from Little Lady. Is there any video of Brian Laundrie driving to the preserve on the day that he went hiking?
Not that we have. All that we're going on right now is what police say, which is that the Laundries in the house behind me told them that Brian went hiking at the reserve. But a lot of people are wondering, is there some kind of video that the FBI has that they're just not sharing with us?
Very smart, and they don't share all the time. It's not just this case, it's all the cases I've ever worked on. Katie on Twitter has a great question for you. I have often wondered it myself, Brian Entin. Do you actually have a place to sleep while you're set up at the neighbors during the week? And when do you find the time to sleep, Brian Entin?
So we do have a hotel. We sleep in the car a lot. We're at the neighbors most of the time. We have another, I'm with Luis all the time, my cameraman. We have another cameraman who fills in for us just to keep an eye on the house. And that's when we go to the hotel and sleep.
Okay, JM on Twitter asks this, Brian, and I'm just going to add to that, he doesn't get enough sleep. Trust me, he and Luis are working longer days than I would care to ever work myself. So JM on Twitter, if the Laundries are so miserable being bothered, why do they continue to stay in that home? Couldn't they go elsewhere?
That's another one of the top questions that I've heard. Why don't they go stay with family? Why don't they get an Airbnb? I don't know the answer to that question. The only thing I can think of is, you know how people are with their own house. It's sort of like their castle. Maybe they feel the most comfortable here. They want to hunker down, but we don't know for sure.
I'm going to pop this one in here from, I think it's Bingy B, just like the name. And they ask, do you know if the Laundrie's attorney can become liable if they find out he knew where Brian Laundrie was and lied about it, particularly if Brian Laundrie is charged with murder? I'll jump into it, and I want you to add to it. #1, yes. If you lie to the police, it doesn't matter if you're a doctor or a lawyer. It's lying, and it's obstruction. And there's a charge, lying to authorities. So, yeah. And then there could be more to it as well, especially if he suborns perjury from someone who gets up on the stand and lies. He allows that to come out in any kind of trial if he's representing them. I think he's a real estate lawyer, though, right, Brian? So I don't think he'd be a criminal attorney for them in court.
Yeah, he is a real estate lawyer in New York, and I've heard several different lawyers explain it differently. You can't lie to the police, but are the police or the FBI really asking Mr. Bertolino, do you know where Brian is? Is that a question they would be asking the attorney? If they're not asking, I'm not sure he actually has to tell them.
You're darn right about that, my friend. And the truth is, it's always tick-a-lock. Whether you're the lawyer or the clients that you're advising, don't talk, because you're going to say something dumb, and certainly don't text them. So, hey, Brian, thank you for that, and thank you for working late every night and answering everybody's questions. Appreciate it.